The Huge Nerd Podcast, brought to you by the Huge Nerd Network, your place for everything nerd culture. Now, it's clobbering time.
Welcome, guys, to the Huge Nerd Network Podcast. I've been working on actually relaunching a site that Sean had built years ago. It is called Huge Nerd Network. It's actually launched now. If you go to hugenerd.net, we have a lot of people on the site who are writing and making videos about everything related to nerd culture. We have a few of them here with us today, actually. We have Wendell. Say hi, Wendell.
Hey.
We have Alaura.
What's up?
And we have Rudy with us as well.
What up, what up?
So they'll be joining us talking about fall TV premieres. And then finally, we're going to talk about our main topic, which is charging for autographs at conventions, yay or nay. So let's go ahead and start with fall TV premieres. We're going to go into Gotham first. So I don't watch the show, so what do you guys think of this show as season 2 has begun?
With Gotham, I saw actually the premiere at Wizard World Chicago, and I'm like, that's like how I feel about the show. It's weird. I think Barbara, they're trying to make her so much Harley Quinn that it's ridiculous. It's like just either make her and Jim have a baby so that she'll eventually become Batgirl and then kill her off. That's how I feel about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no offense. Like the other one.
No, I totally agree. I don't understand how she went from being this sweet, like she loved Jim because he was so just and righteous, and like he loved the law and like he loved his job and everything, and then she's just like, oh right, I'm crazy. And
I know.
Okay. She killed her parents. Like, okay, sure.
I know.
Who wrote this?
Oh man, the show doesn't know what it's gonna. I mean, it's still figuring it's out, because I was hoping Gotham would be more like a kind of crime drama type of show, kind of like a Person of Interest or something like that, like one of those type of good shows. But no, it's like really comic booky, where it's like ridiculous, like Batman Robin. It's like feels like Schumacher like directs some episodes. It's ridiculous how campy it can be.
You know what I keep thinking about now that Barbara's gone crazy, but I'm kind of like, okay, if this is supposed to be, them in the past and eventually the future's going to happen, Batman's going to be Batman, blah, 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 Gordon is going to name his daughter after this psycho.
Yeah, I know.
Like, he's going to be like, you know what, she killed a bunch of people, but let's still call my daughter Barbara. I'm like, what? I don't know what they're going with. I do see the whole... they're kind of trying to underline this whole Harley Quinn thing, but I think they're only doing that because that's what the fans are asking for. Like, we hate it, but Harley Quinn is an easy one for them to, like, reel people in. So, of course, they're going to do that, and that's why we have Jerome playing the Joker, is because it's going to get people watching.
And that's the thing that I always had issues. I watched a few episodes of Gotham in, like, the beginning, and that was kind of, like, the vibe that I got, is that it, like, gave stuff for the fans, but like in a weird way, like not the right fans. Like Christopher Nolan didn't give like a about fans. He was just like, I'm gonna do my good movie, and then incidentally I'll throw in some like Batman-y things. This is like the complete opposite, where it was just like, hey, name drop, name drop, name drop. Let's do this thing. Let's clearly like ramp up to this thing. Like I think you're totally right, Sean, with the comic book style, but very much like kind of the more pulpy, just you're getting it in to like cram the popcorn of just, oh, I know that name. Oh, that's going to be interesting later. Not now, but maybe someday down the line, and it kind of strings you along that way.
But I feel like there's a way to do that well. I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe mostly does that well, where they drop Easter eggs, they drop these hints for future movies and or TV shows. And it gets you excited, but at least like the story, for the most part, you're watching now is still interesting. So that you're like, oh, there's going to be Infinity Gems, but hey, this Captain America movie is also pretty cool right now. Right? So it's like, I think it's possible, and I think that they've got the right idea, especially because this is like a prequel type show, I guess, and so they're trying to drop these hints for the future, but I have this fear, and again, I don't watch it really, but I have this fear that's going to be Smallville, where it's just like 10 years of build-up for nothing.
No, it's true. I was at the panel for it, like I was saying, and they had Ben McKenzie, and I forgot who plays Alfred. He's the cool dude. He was on Doctor Who, I knew that. But they talked about pretty much the last episode will be whenever young Bruce and they'll have to age him unless the show goes for 15 years, which I hope not. I hope it doesn't go 15 years. I wouldn't watch it for 15 years. That he would be put on the cape and cowl and become Batman. It's just like Smallville, how the very last episode he finally puts on his suit and flies and call him Superman.
Well, yeah. I'm calling somewhere within maybe 2 or 3 seasons. I'm literally calling they're gonna time jump. They have to time jump. They have to, and I don't really see the show lasting for very long. It's not keeping up with the likes of Arrow and Flash and Marvel.
It's just so much better shows. Supergirl's
exactly.
I wish Real Housewives was like that because then it's exciting, but
yeah,
it's one of those things where my parents always made me watch those stupid CIS shows and all those, like, I don't know. They have so many variations of it, and then I watch this and I'm like, it's awesome. It's nerdy.
Okay, and before one more thing, because you mentioned his name, I have never watched a show where that's a lie. I've watched a show where I've hated a child so much, Game of Thrones. But it's like right now the way Bruce acts makes Joffrey look like a f***ing angel. Sorry, I'm not supposed to curse.
Really?
Sorry. I hate Bruce. Like he's a brat. He's the worst child in the entire world.
I mean, the way he's raised, you would think he would be like that at first and stuff, too. You know, he's a rich kid, man. I mean, people forget that.
I understand him being awkward, but he's so mature for his age, and, like, I don't know. Though you haven't seen the last episode, but he fires Alfred, and then literally 20 minutes later, he's like, I didn't mean that. I need you. And then he like, kind of half-ass apologizes to Jim Alfred as well.
Yeah,
he goes up to Jim, and he's like, I'm sorry I was a dick.
It just doesn't make any, like, for one, it's like, yeah, he fired Alfred, and my first thought was like, you're 12, dude. Like,
yeah, no, that's literally what I wrote.
He's like, you have to file for emancipation, dude. Like,
yeah, that's your legal guardian. Like, you can't.
But I mean, like back to what Sean said. Like, yeah, they are cramming all these people in there, and it's just progressing so fast. Here we are, season 2, episode 2, and now Alfred and Bruce are working with Lucius, and I'm like, that's quick. Like, it happened so quickly. So, I mean, I don't know. I want to say at the end of this season, the Joker is going to be full blown there. We're going to have Bane breaking people's backs. So, like, they're going to throw everything out at the end of this season.
I like it.
They might as well have made this show, like, just with him older and, like, you know, and Batman. And that's what they really want. It's like, it's just so sad. I forgot who I think Kevin Smith or someone was saying that how Batman the animated series from the 90s, it's a cartoon that was actually made for kids, is way more mature, handles so much better than the show that's actually live action, that's actually on primetime TV. It's like so sad, man. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about
it. All right, so the next show we want to talk about is Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
That Rudy's out.
For the most part, we have the most, like, I think, staunch S.H.I.E.L.D. apologists in this podcast. Like, the whole site is very divided. I think Rudy might be the only one in this podcast that's, like, not about it.
I'm so about it, man.
Yeah, so season 3 premiered last night. I wrote a review on it already. I really liked it. I
loved it, man.
I love the turn the show has made. Now we talked about Gotham and how it's trying to find itself. I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. took practically a season to find itself.
60 episodes, to be precise.
Yes, exactly. And
still better than Gotham.
Yeah, and it needed the Captain America Winter Soldier movie to give it direction. Once it got that, it became more focused and more.
Joss move too. Like,
yeah.
Everyone for season 1 of Buffy. Like, the only time that Joss has really, like, knocked it out of the park, like, from the get go, maybe Dollhouse and maybe Firefly, but I think just our collective memories are, like, kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt. For that, like, Joss, like, makes this super, like, mundane show and then, like, cranks it to 11 at one point. Like, everyone's like, yeah, you go through these things, and then, oh yeah, here's when it, like, matters. And it hasn't let off the gas since, like, what was that, 2012, 2013? Winter Soldier, the switch flipped, and it's just still, there might have been, like, one episode where I was like, this is, like, a okay episode, I guess. Like since that turning point.
There was a dip in season 2 for a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, they brought in Mockingbird. They brought in a new character, Hunter, who's awesome. Trip was great, and then they killed him off.
No.
Classic. Classic. We didn't mess around too because you think that like one character is going,
I know,
and they like throw that dude under the bus, and there was again. This is just my perspective. It was another show that like had 2 black people on it, and that's a hard thing to do in 2015. To be like here's 2 distinct characters, they're not the same person. They did a good job. They did a good job of like holding on to that, and then killed one of them. It was like, oh, you can do that? You're allowed to, and it made you feel, and you're like, oh man. It's they've got that good balance of like subverting expectations like left and right.
Well, so
I was gonna say with that mid-season finale last year, that was freaking amazing when they totally made a reveal that Skye was Daisy Quake in the comics, which I actually really like that character a lot. She was actually been on Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, voiced by Lacey Chabert. So a little tidbit for you guys. Yeah, so it was really cool. And now, going into the season 3 premiere, she's embraced the Daisy persona. She doesn't go by Skye anymore, which is a little jarring for some fans of the show. Like that's been
and some characters, Coulson.
But no, it's cool, and like I met Chloe Bennett a few weeks ago at Long Beach Comic Con. She's such a sweetheart, so funny, and I really love seeing her. As her character has really evolved, and I'm really happy to see what they've turned her into.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about like season 1, I hated Ward. I loved season 1. I was really annoyed with Skye. Like I hated how Coulson like was obsessed with her, and then like it's just funny how it turned them all around. Like Ward as a bad guy is awesome. I love him.
He's a great guy, even though he's evil. I gave him a Hydra bug. I whispered Hell Hydra.
Hydra. Yeah. But I mean, like Skye Daisy is basically like the most authentic sort of female turn of a Luke Skywalker that I've seen. Like whiny, Tashi Station, and then like they've totally like taken her to like this space where you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. This is cool. I can get down with you.
Yeah,
I really like what they did with the character. I still think the writing's way better than Gotham. They at least are more focused and know what they want to do with the show, and have done a more entertaining job than I think Gotham has.
And I think they have more fun, honestly. Like that's the thing that has able to like keep Marvel grounded is that like because it like is so playful, every time that it like gets really dark, it earns it, and then 2, every time it gets silly, it can like steer into the skid. It doesn't seem comical or goofy or campy because it's just like, this is just what we do now.
I know.
Tell jokes every like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a very Josh Whedon thing. Quip. It's like,
quip, action, kill a character, quip.
That's Josh Whedon's formula to the T right there. There you go.
Yeah, so that's another thing I've kind of, as an apologist for the show, I've said, this is the best female-driven superhero show on TV. Like, it's got May, it's got Mockingbird, It's got Daisy, it's got Simmons, who's a great character.
She's the best. And going into that season 3 premiere, oh my god, that's going to be probably the most interesting part of this 3rd season is where the hell is Simmons and how are they going to get her back?
She's in another world, that's for sure.
It reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy, that first planet they were at. I was just imagining her going like, hey. It's like, I was about her, the dance off, bro. No, whatever.
But also, like, Fitz's character is really great. I feel like in second season, because he was dealing with his accident, he's just kind of, been dealing with, like, trauma. And we get out of the gate Fitz in his, like, most compelling... I don't know if anyone watched, the whole Oceans series, but, like, when, Linus finally like got his together in like Ocean's 13. Yeah. That was kind of the vibe that I had with Fitz, where I'm like, yeah, you're kind of going balls to the wall. You're kind of still like that cute kid that we're like into, but like you've also kind of sacked up and are like negotiating with terrorists and like being a baller and taking like gunfire like on your own mission, not even like fish out of water, but like you've taken on like your own stuff to figure things out. Like they've like his character is probably my favorite. Like,
he is great, man. Like I said, at first people were kind of like, Fitz and Simmons, but now it's like, dude, they're some of like the most.
They're the heart of the show.
Yeah, I know they are. Like, Yeah, I really hope that they do end up together too, because man, it's like they need to like that season 1 finale. They need to go back to that. And it's like I want to see them together.
I know some people were shipping Fitz and Mac.
I ship Fitz and Mac.
I know, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I shipped Simmons and Tripp, and that was my mistake. That was what Josh wanted me to do. Josh was like, "Ha, yes, Simmons and Tripp, Simmons and Tripp." Like, you're done.
See, you notice how talking to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, and like I'm both Marvel and DC. I'm not like I like one more than the other, but Batman is like my favorite character, and I love his universe's rogues gallery. And I'm so like when I talk about Gotham here, this is not even characters that are like C-list characters at the most, and it's like I'm so happy talking about this versus Gotham. That shows you how good the show is to me, at least.
It's definitely made a big improvement. I'm really interested to see where the Inhumans go. Well, one other thing I want to note that I wrote in my review. So there was a lot of exposition in this episode, and that was in this premiere, and that was kind of annoying. But one thing I really appreciated is the president had this speech where he was talking about.
Too, by the way.
Yeah, where he was talking about everything that's gone on, and it was nice to get an acknowledgement. Like, yeah, a lot of crap has gone down in the last few years in this universe, and it makes sense that people would be on edge, and that the whole Civil War thing.
The CIA, basically fake CIA, ruined everything.
Yeah. And then like,
whatever happened in London. London was Thor 2. I didn't watch Thor 2. I tried. I was high, and I thought I would enjoy it. That's how I knew how much I hated that movie. Because I was like, nope, I can't even deal with this right now. It's so bad.
I think
I really like Thor too, but yeah.
Well, Sean, both you and I rated that movie as our least favorite didn't we?
Yeah, but that.
Oh no, Hulk was our least favorite, and then Thor 2 is like 10 or 11 for both of us. So
that's a really hard thing to say because I still like all those movies compared to Craptastic Four, but yeah.
There's actually like a hex on that franchise.
I know,
seriously, but no, yeah, it was so great. Yeah, going when you're saying, Corey, that they acknowledge this. There's so much stuff that's happening. In fact, if you watch my buddy, and well, he's on their side too, John's on this trailer of Avengers: Age of Ultron. It's like the Avengers didn't assemble when the president was taken captive, when the world was about to be destroyed by Malachite, or when S.H.I.E.L.D. that helicarrier was going to kill millions of people, but when they were getting Loki's scepter, it was a great thing. It's like, you're right, they should have assembled here, but that's how it is in the comics too. It's like, why didn't they call the other people? But that's a comic thing too. So.
Well, and that's what I appreciated about Ant-Man was that he was like, we should call the Avengers.
I know.
Inside job. We got to do this as sort of a stealthy thing.
Yeah.
So let's not wax philosophic on S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. If these 3 yahoos didn't get you stoked on it,
I know. Yeah, I could make the whole show about that. That's me. But let's talk about the next one.
Yeah, let's talk about Once Upon a Time.
Oh yeah.
I've known Rudy to be a fan of this show for a while, so I kind of want to hear what you think.
Basically, it was like I said in my review. I was kind of sitting there, and I fell out of it. Like, they hopped on that Frozen bandwagon so quick, and they were just like beating that horse to death. And I was like, okay, well, what Disney characters are we going to incorporate in the next season? And for seasons and seasons and seasons, everybody's been talking about Dark Swan. Emma's going to go evil, and then she finally did it, and everything was great. Like, it was a really great episode. What's her name? Lana Parrilla. I have like the biggest crush on her. Her acting is superb in that. She plays the evil queen. But then it's like they pulled this unnecessary we lost our memories bit at the end of the episode, and I'm like, you've done this every single season since season 1, so it gets really, really frustrating when they have a really good, plot line going on, and then they're just like, bam, memory loss, amnesia. Like, I can't stand it. Like, it's gonna be a long one. It's gonna be a long season.
Are you a fan of Brave? Because Meredith's gonna be there.
I mean, she was in the first episode, and I've never seen Brave before. So
it's not like amazing, but it's so good.
I mean, it's Pixar, mate. Like, Pixar, like a kind of okay Pixar is still like 87%.
Exactly. That's how I feel too.
And that's the very first Pixar movie I've never seen before. I've seen every single Pixar movie in theaters.
Cars too.
I
Some cars
okay.
are brave.
Okay. Cars. Okay, I went to see it. Did I stay awake through the whole thing? No, I didn't. But I paid for a ticket. I attempted to watch it.
He's got the stub. It's in the scrapbook. He's there. Almost got full completion.
Yeah, Cars 2 is like the Gotham of the Pixar.
And Cars 3 is going to be the cape of the Pixar.
They're not making Cars 3, are they? No,
Yeah.
They're actually doing the...
No,
doing
they're
Cars.
making Turtles 2 and Toy Story 4.
Lasseter loves it so much, and he's the head honcho, so it's kind of like, yeah, okay, you can get your weird pet project because you did, like, invent Pixar and do all this amazing stuff, but, like, I don't even think he thinks that it's good. He just knows that he can get away with it, and he loves Cars so much.
Well,
It's just merchandise, man. It's like the reason why that did good, because it's like kids love Mater and kids love the little toy cars that are all over like Target and Toys R Us and stuff. That's the only reason why it's so big. You know?
And you know what? If once upon a time, oh God, please no David the Cook.
Didn't they make that though? It was like
They
about
did.
airplanes.
It's Disney, not Pixar, that did that. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, here's what I think. I mean, I know there was talks about like Once Upon a Time incorporating Herbie because Emma drives a bug. So it's just my fear is that somewhere along the lines we're going to see talking toys and just everyone driving like a race car.
That's what I need to know. Where's Cusco? Where's Crunk? That's what I need.
Well, I mean, you know what? If they're going to incorporate the Emperor's New Groove, you just can't do it without Eartha Kitt. You know, you just can't.
That's real. That's real.
You can't do it. Like, she was literally Yzma to a T. So
turn him into a harmless little flea, and I'll put that flea in a box, and I'll put that box inside of another box, and I'll mail that box to myself. And when it arrives, I'll smash it with a hammer.
Hey, here's a fun fact. Every day I tell Alaura that she's just like, oh, this, I'm so tired of work, kill me. So I make a reference to smashing her. I make a reference to smashing her with a hammer every single day. I think it's something like a really crazy plan, and I always end it with, I'll smash you with a hammer. She's just like, yeah, smash it with a hammer thing again.
I think all I do is send you just 2 words, kill me. And you just send me this huge paragraph, and then
I'm just like, smash it with the hammer. But yeah, I mean,
you guys have an interesting friendship.
But yeah, no. Once Upon a Time, this is if anybody was just like kind of tuning out of the last couple of seasons, like this is a really good season to watch because the acting on that show is pretty phenomenal in my personal opinion. It's surprisingly, with all that Disney money, the CGI is pretty crappy. It's never been good. It's awful, so bad. So
yeah, I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has better CGI than.
Well, they've gotten much better.
Yeah.
They started out pretty bad too.
So
that's TV, man. It's TV.
Yeah, and TV, you kind of take it with a grain of salt. But God, speaking of bad CGI, are we done with Once Upon a Time? Because I just remembered we got to talk Heroes Reborn.
Oh no, that's gonna be forever. That's what's so funny about Heroes is that I was like, straight up, this is 5 years later. Like, I get it before 2005 wasn't, like, the best, but when they still had, like, the same shitty, like, CG, I was like... And, I mean, I get it. They probably had zero budget because, literally, how do you pitch the show? Hey, remember that show that was, like, terrible at one time? We'd love to do it again. Can you give us, like, twice as much money? That conversation didn't happen. They got maybe the same amount, and because, like, fans, like, wrote petitions, I'm pretty sure I signed it, too. But it was, like, really funny. I was like, why would you even set yourself up? Because there are certain things where, like, they easily could have just chosen to not do a CGI thing and just, like, figured out something else, and they still did the CGI thing, which then required us to be like, that looks horrible.
Oh, man. Well, me and Corey watched the premiere together at my place, and man, it was just like, what the hell? Like the video game thing. What I appreciate them for being different, but what the hell was that about? It's just like, you know, I knew that a lot of my favorite characters were coming back. You know, Claire has been killed off. They said that, and Sylar and Peter are somewhere doing their hero thing wherever because they're off in Star Trek.
Yeah, well, Sylar's being Spock.
Yeah. And and Peter is now, he was on Gotham, but I don't know what he's doing now. He was, I don't know what
So
on the show. Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I felt like it had a lot of promise. I do agree that the video game thing is the most like shark jumpy, and my review's like super late for this, but I've been like sort of piecing it together. I'm like, here's what they're doing. Like they're shooting for like a healthy medium. Like whereas like Heroes kind of went like the Lost thing and was just like, we're gonna like just have all these mysteries on top of mysteries, and everyone's disconnected and you understand why they're together until like the second to last episode do you finally piece everything together why everyone's connected. This show out of the gate is just like, they're connected because of Odessa. Done. Easy. We're gonna just say that. That's not even subtext, that's just right in the front. But we're still gonna keep them apart from each other, and the one that's the least connected is the video game thing.
Yeah.
And I like it in the sense that like, while it's goofy, if they do pull it off, I feel like it's gonna be the thing that really does set the show apart eventually. It's the thing that makes you not just be like, and here's them making Heroes if it had been good. Like, it's not like this is the thing that makes it not just Heroes, let's retry, but like actually this is a different thing entirely, that we're doing something new. The only connection that video game thing has to the original Heroes is the sword, Hero's sword, and the fact that they're in Japan. And besides that, they're just kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah, I think that has to do with Hero. It has to, because it's like, okay, it's his sword. It's in Japan. It has to do something with him. Is that like his, some family member or something? And like, remember, Future Hero has been shown in the previews for this season, and it could, so could that be his future daughter or something? I don't know what the hell is going on with that. But, I mean, Heroes has done really weird things. I mean, remember when they made Sylar into Nathan for that last season?
Oh, God.
That was weird.
I know, so...
it was weird, but it was fun. Like, I could see the writer's room where they were like, hey, these two characters both are kind of let's just put them together. Like, I see that the decision was kind of more like instead of like, this is a good story thing, it was a very pragmatic thing, and I felt like they made it work even though it was so transparently like, we gotta just solve this problem that we've created for ourselves.
Well, yeah,
but it's kind of goofy.
They did that in season 2 and 3 when, because Peter and Hero were so powerful and they tried to take away their powers. Remember with Peter's dad? Right? Yeah, so yeah, it was they made those characters way too powerful. Like, Peter was just like getting every single power there was. And
it's not even that they were powerful, they just didn't know how to write them. Like, I think there's a way to have a powerful character, but they didn't trust themselves enough, especially after the garbage season 2, to be able to pull that. I felt like Heroes got the yips after season 2. Like, it had been so swaggery, it had been so like amazing, and then it was like, oh, so hard. Let's just really like figure this out, and like, okay, these guys are too powerful, let's like ruin their stuff, and they took these like really the easy way out in a lot of stuff. And so the thing that excites me about this season is that I feel more of the confidence. I don't think it should have been a 2-hour premiere. Like, the 2 episodes by themselves would have been totally fine. I think we all would have been pleased. Slogging through 2 hours of that and like trying to pretend that they were all connected and had a cohesion didn't really fly. I think it was just, I think people think that like 2-hour premieres people just like, and they're like, I'm so excited to see this 2-hour premiere. No, you don't have to do it. Just do the one and then give us another one later. It's totally fun.
Yeah, because Flash and Arrow premiere next week, and Supergirl, and they're all 1-hour premieres. Gotham was 1 hour. I didn't think Hero needed to be 2 hours. In fact, it was just like, we were together recording, we were just like, okay, come on.
I was working on the site. I was just like...
I know, I was just like, yeah, you know when the show's not good when you do other things while like what's going on.
It's like at this point, it's probably downgraded to a laundry show for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Oof.
Yeah.
I think it's got a chance to prove itself, but like, I'm not gonna like front and say like, oh my god, it's like perfect. But like, all the pilots that have come out this year, like my reviews for all of them have been kind of the same. Like, real interesting. Let's see where they go with this.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of the critics I read. Oh, go ahead, Rudy.
Oh, I was going to say, fun fact, because it's interesting that you made that the segue into that. The boy who plays Tommy on Heroes Reborn with the disappearing powers, he actually played Peter Pan on Once Upon a Time.
Yes, he did. Yes, that's right. I thought I thought he looked familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the main villain in that. He was actually pretty good as a villain. He was a pretty good villain in that. Now here he is playing just your typical sad little boy who's confused with what's going on with his body. It's just,
and that's the strength I think of the episode, is that like, and that's the strength of Heroes always, is that it has this like nice thread, but then it just like does a bunch of different genres. Like we've got, here's the high school story, here's the vigilante cop, here's the conspiracy theory, let's find this, here's the Batman, but like actually it's sort of a luchador LA, like he's Batman, but he's Hispanic Batman. And you have all of these different stories, video game stories, and they're all like not just different characters, but they're completely telling different versions of the hero's story, and then they weave in that thread, and like that's what made me like really feel like, oh man, this is Heroes again, because it felt very comic booky. It felt like reading, like some imprint should be picking up at Heroes and doing separate comic books for each character in the show, and like it's like an Image or a IDW or something should be just creating an entire property line based on Heroes, because they can hit at all those different genres while still being like, and then treating them like they're real. Like there's camp in Heroes, but like not as much as like Marvel. Like Marvel like knows that it's a show based on comic books. Hero is in a comic book style, but it still just plays it straight, and that's what's I think enjoyable about it.
And like I look back to the previous Heroes, we had, I mean, what, four seasons, right? And it's like, it took them so long to tie everything together. How are we going to tie the previous Hero series with this Hero series in 13 episodes? You know, like, they're going to have to move really, really fast to cram everything together. So I feel like a lot of the character development that we've come to know and love from like superhero shows is going to be completely thrown out of the, out of the door.
Yeah, and that was kind of my thoughts. So a few things. So I've always appreciated the globalization angle of Heroes, right? I love that there was like they jumped around to different parts of the world. But one show that came out this summer did that a lot better, and that show was Sense8. And
oh God, I love that show.
Yeah, and so they set the bar really well with that. The second is. I already see that issue with the shortened season, and typically I'm in favor of shortened seasons. I think they just work better.
American TV is just way too long. That's why like you always like, this season's almost perfect, but you can't be perfect for 22 episodes. Exactly. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and so, but I could already see in that first 2-hour premiere exposition. Like, here's a voiceover of Mohinder. Here's a voiceover of HRG, right? And then it's just like. And then even Zach Levi, like when he's sitting there, he's all brooding, and he's like, yeah, well, my daughter was killed, so I have an idea. I'm going to kill you all. Boom, 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 right? It's like, dude, if someone's talking that long and they're looking kind of sinister, I'd be out of there, you know?
I'd be like, hey, I got to be anywhere but here right now. Is it cool? I got to go. This guy's acting like real sketchy.
Oh, man. All right. Well.
See, wait, this is how I know, Corey, because I've said this to you before. This is how I know you weren't paying attention. It is his son. His son was killed.
Son Danny? His name was Danny.
Dennis! His name is Dennis. No one was watching the show.
What's name? I don't know.
I think I was projecting my daughter, I guess, into it. But
you have a son?
I do have a son, too.
He's upset because it was Sarah and their son after Chuck, man. So it's like, that's why he's upset. So that's Chuck turning evil now. He has to intersect, and then he's gonna do some kung fu on all the heroes, or Evos as they call them. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't like that name. I'll give him a pass for it, but I don't care for it. Like, yeah, better than Evo.
What?
I know. I'd rather have mutants or Inhumans, Evo.
Those are all copyrighted. Like, you cannot mention them without like.
No, I know you can't. But
I feel like they could have done a better job. Like, Evo sounds like Mega Blocks for Legos. It's like, we really want to do this, but like we can't because we're in like the knockoff brand.
Well, even in Avengers: Age of Ultron, I'm pretty sure they can use this term when you call them enhanced. That's like, I felt like that would be a better name than like.
But I mean, I feel like enhance, like mutants is like we hate mutants, and enhance is like, oh, we might like you. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's like enhance could be like, you're enhanced people are evil, you know. So it's like, yeah.
So let's power through to something that we actually all have seen.
Yes. The Muppets.
We can all talk about it.
Yay!
The damn.
I love the Muppets.
We have nothing to say. We're just like, yeah, it's cool.
No.
Well, how amazing it was. We're just leaving space for everyone to like jump in because we're all so.
Yeah, I'll jump in if you don't mind. So I've seen both episodes. I've loved the Muppets since I was a kid. I watched everything from the original Muppet Show on reruns to Muppet Babies. I love the Muppet movies. Muppet Christmas Carol, man. Wherever you find love, it feels like Christmas. I mean, sorry, that song just gets me every time. But no, and Rainbow Connection. Oh man. Anyway, the show is it's 30 Rock, The Office, and The Muppets put together. That's the best right there. I mean, I love all those shows. It's just so good. And I love what they did with the dynamic with Piggy and Kermit being broken up, and that's kind of like the catalyst for the show, too. It's like how to deal with that. And that first episode was pretty sad, how they broke up. Oh, man. Ever have that kind of breakup like that? It's just like, yeah, it hits home, man. It's just like, oh, man. It's just
and that's what I love about it. I love that about it too, in that it embraces a formula. Like that's sort of what I brought up in my reviews. I'm just like, hey, they figured it out, and what's figured out, I'm like super about. It's like, okay, Kermit Piggy, and something to do with the show.
Yeah.
Fozzie B plot, and then a C plot where we just literally get like the gang doing like a thing, and it's just been like on fire, on all cylinders.
Yes.
Slight exception of Fozzie, but even he's kind of growing on me as that. Type of character, but it allows them to use the space effectively. It allows them to use like those side characters as much as they want, but also giving us what we're really focused on, the Kermit Piggy. I'm surprised they even haven't already started doing the will they won't they, but definitely they're going to bring that up, and it's going to be amazing. We get to see again, it's just so fruitful. Like you see like the field and you're like, they can do so much with it. Like the show could start like having financial troubles, or it could maybe get bought out by something, or Kermit and Piggy like relationship might throw it off kilter, or someone tries to like, I could come up with like 1,000 things that they could do, and they'll probably still throw something like more interesting and like great at it. So that's what excites me about this show the most.
It just hits all stars, like you said, man.
Yeah, it does. And first of all, 2 episodes. Where's Walter?
Well, no, Walter already got phased out. Walter wasn't even in Most Wanted. He's like
he was there a little bit, but it's just like you would. I mean, I'd imagine they'd incorporate him, but then again, that's fine, different story. But I did want to go back to what you said about Fozzie, because this is 2 episodes now where you have this little side story about Fozzie, and I'm kind of like, since there hasn't been much on Gonzo, the band has actually been highlighted more than everybody else, and I'm kind of, I love Dr. Teeth and whatnot, but it's just like, I'm surprised they're focusing so much on Fozzie. Like, that's 2 stories, it's 2 storylines for Fozzie Bear,
So Fozzie's always been problematic, and that's what I've loved that they are focusing on him, is that Fozzie's always like, why, like, I wouldn't call it like Jim Henson's misstep, but even when I'd go through and watch like the Fozzie thing, like his joke is how terrible he is, and that's such a fine line to walk, because it's like, at what point are you actually just being terrible versus playing with the idea of someone being terrible? And so to give Fozzie his own thing and not pollute everyone else's jokes, I feel like is a smart decision. Maybe that is something that is probably the one thing of the show that I am going to need like a lot more episodes to really sell me on the effectiveness. But so far that I've seen, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad that Fozzie isn't ruining Kermit's jokes or messing with the really like fresh and like put together dynamic of every single other Muppet, because Fozzie is the weird odd man out and has been for literally 40 years.
Like, I loved he dealt with him in his date or his girlfriend in the first episode, then the last one with Jay Leno. I don't know, it's just like the whole dynamic with him, and I thought it was hilarious. I thought it's great what they're doing with Fozzie. I've always been a Fozzie fan, and maybe it is kind of like I can feel for him being the guy that says the really old school kind of like lame humor, but still hopefully I got a laugh. Maybe it's like So that's I feel for Fozzie a lot, and he's funny, man. To me, I don't know.
And I love the Jay Leno thing, because like I don't know if they were doing it on purpose. I don't know if they told Jay Leno, but the idea that Jay Leno would like Fozzie is such a meta joke, because Jay Leno is terrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that old school, very like, this is not edgy. This is not, because Fozzie's never been like that. He's always been very old school, and his jokes have been, he's not with the times, and that's what's so great about him. So Jay Leno is very much like that too. So I thought that was I noticed that too. Good pointing out that.
So my question is, Oh, I'm sorry, Corey. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna ask if Alaura had any thoughts. Have you seen the show?
I watched it today, like
Yeah,
an hour ago.
So it's fresh on your mind. What do you think? What do you think about it?
I don't know. It's like watching real people instead of puppets. But I'm like bow down to anything made by Jim Henson or having anything to do with Jim Henson. Like I watched all of Farscape, like in succession, and every creature is just like, and then, I don't know. Of course, that part with Lawrence Fishburne's my favorite.
And see, and that's what I was gonna ask. So it's just like between the two episodes, we've seen so many, cameos. Just like my personal favorite is Lawrence Fishburne. That was amazing. So I was just wondering, like, who was your guys' favorite cameo?
Oh man, so much going. I think Tom Berenger or whatever when he from Dancing with the Stars, and it's like
that was a good one. I like that.
I love that he just accepted that he's just kind of like the like backup, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm going. I heard, it's like he's just cool. I just thought that was great. So,
my favorite actually was there's two of them, and they were both really small, but they were so great. And like one was just like really good timing. The whole like the fact that Kermit's top 5 list had Leah Thompson on it. That was amazing. That was just it was super small. It was super quick to shoot and just like amazing because we've all felt it or thought it. Maybe that's just me, but like Back to the Future, like anyway.
Yes.
And then the other one was Reza Aslan, who is the secular writer, but that writes about rather Muslim writer that writes about secular Jesus. Like he's a historian. He writes about Jesus, hard hitting stuff. He like was on the news because like people kept trying to like talk about how can you write about Jesus if you're Muslim? It's like because I'm a scholar and I have a PhD, and like he just had all this stuff. Yeah. And then just like as a throwaway joke, they throw in, "Hey, we should talk about writers," and they bring Reza Aslan onto the show, and I'm just like, that's a joke from one, actually like 18 months ago. 2, it's super smart, and 3, it was done completely in 10 seconds, and so it just shows how like devoted the show is to like literally it has something for every single person. It's got the highbrow NPR reading, watching, listening intellectuals. It's got like weed jokes. It's got like sexual innuendos. They've just done such a good job at like actually making a show that's relevant for every single person, and the celebrity cameos has been like a really good part at hitting that home.
By the way, real quick on the Lena Thompson thing, Gonzo sets a cock blocker, man. I was just, dude, I was just like, come on, Gonzo, why would you do that? So I thought that was great. I love Leah Thompson so much. Back to the Future Anniversary, October 21st, everyone.
Oh yeah, I thought October 15th.
God, so every day is a day, and what's funny is, I'm recording 2 podcasts today, and today is actually like National Podcast Day, apparently. So, so there you go.
National Coffee Day yesterday.
I know, right? It's like
I'm all about National Coffee Day every day.
Yeah, every day is National Coffee Day for me. So there's been a great discussion on TV. I'm going to go ahead and skip the tech discussion. We'll do that next week. I really want to get into our main topic.
Yeah.
The effect. I came across this article, the effect of not charging for signatures at conventions. Really interesting stuff. I've heard from just some like of my coworkers. Portland had their Comic-Con recently, and there was just frustration of like, this person from Star Wars was there, but you have to pay like $40 to take a picture with them, or like $30 to get an autograph. But this article mainly focused on like comic book artists, maybe people who aren't as well known, like celebrities, who charge for autographs, and then those who kind of feel like, it's just great that someone's buying my art, and I don't want to charge them for an autograph on a piece of art of mine that they bought. So it's like these two factions of like, well, no, like you got to get yours, you got to make money however you can, and then there's the other that are like, I'm just grateful to be doing this. They already paid for one of my products. I don't want to have to charge them more to sign the product. So I'm just going to kind of open it up to you guys. What do you think about this?
An interesting part about it that I hadn't thought out until literally you mentioned it now is for the big names, sometimes I wonder how much of that is just crowd control. Just like, hey, I don't need the money. I'm a big name. Like, I get royalty checks every single day. That's more than however much I'm going to make on autographs. But literally, if I do it for free, that's a line for 2,000 people. Even if I like raise the bar just a little bit, I can half that or maybe make it a fifth. just by like increasing, the bar. You can't do it for any, other things because that's discrimination. But by having like a financial aspect to it, you can actually like say I can meet as much fans as I can reasonably do because otherwise it's crazy. And on the flip side, when you have people doing it for free, they're the people that actually still need to service fans and maybe still generate that goodwill, and it's worth it for them to like. I think of the people that do Kickstarter and are like, I have to sign 6,000 CDs or comic books or whatever I made, and I have to, and that's just part of the gig because I really value your support because literally this wouldn't have been made without you, and sort of teasing that dichotomy is really interesting.
I've only paid for one autograph in my whole entire life, and Sean, you may know who I'm talking about, but his name is Naji D. Teague.
Oh yeah,
he played the blues Samurai Ranger Kevin from the Samurai series,
Yep,
and so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like I was at SAC Anime and he was there, and so it's like I was just like, okay, cool, dope, like I want to meet this guy, I want to get his autograph, and so he signs it, and then his agent, who just so happened to be his mom, was just like, oh, $20, and I was like, okay, well, let's be honest. In my head, I'm thinking, you're probably not going to get work after the Power Ranger series is over. And I was just like, okay, fine, I'll go ahead and sign it. And so that's like the opposite, that's the other side of it. Like, not everybody has the luxury of having that many royalties come in, so like a lot of these people do. So I was just like, okay, maybe this is why he's charging $20 for, his little signature. And I was kind of like, I mean, that piece of paper is still in my drawer. Like, I've never taken it out since then. But I was kind of like, I get it. Like, it's a job. You're trying to make your money. So I'm not against it.
No, it's a very fine line. Believe me, I know people in the industry, and a lot of these people they do love their fans and do appreciate them for the most part. Most of them do, but yeah, they're just trying to pay their bills, and yeah, there's some people that like it's really different factors. So many things where certain people they make enough, and they're like, you know what. I don't need a charge for autographs. I'm doing good. I'm fine. I got steady work. It's great. And then there's some people like that where it's like, yeah, I don't know if I'll get work ever again, and I have bills to pay, and yeah, so I need any little I can get, and they do as many cons as they can, hoping that people will buy their autograph because they were in something that someone loved, and it's you really feel bad for them. So it is kind of like. You think, oh, they were in a big TV show or in a big movie. It's like, they're doing fine. Not really. Anyone that knows the entertainment industry knows that you could be, you could be in something super huge and then, like, now be working at Target and stuff. It's like a lot of Power Ranger actors, like, I always remember Austin St. John. Austin St. John, the original Red Ranger, was working, like, went back to college, was working as a, like in the medical, like as what are those people that like emergency, like when
EMTs,
EMTs, and up until recently getting back in the convention scene, he was just doing normal jobs like a lot of us, and then now it's and the fact that he does charge autographs is to trying to get back on there, and because he is traveling a lot, traveling to all these cons, and this is coming from experience, costs a lot of money, and a lot of conventions will pay for hotel or travel, but some don't, and it's just like you're trying to recoup those costs when you aren't in something current, like a current hit TV show or a current hit, movie or anything. So it's a fine line. Like I understand it, but at the same time, it's like it sucks for fans. I understand,
Well, so Alaura, like as an artist yourself, if you got to the point where people were wanting your autograph on art that you've made, like how would you feel? Like, would you be okay, would you think charging is fair, or would you be just like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Here, I'll sign it 7 times, right? Like,
I honestly hate my signature. I hate signing things, but if you buy a piece from me, I have to sign it, because if I die and miraculously it becomes a good thing, or, I don't know, then they'll need that signature. Otherwise, they'll be like, I swear she made it. I can't prove that.
What's super interesting to me, like the angle that the article brings up that Corey was talking about, isn't even so much the fan-creator relationship, which is, I think, super important, and I think there is an aspect of it that, we all can sort of attest to, having been to conventions and whatnot, but the creator-to-creator aspect, which is that some people are like, you can't give your autograph away for free because that devalues my autograph. Like if you, like for the most part, it's you know, you have a calculus in your head that the lower, maybe just people know, like lesser well-known people are able to either for less or for free offer their autographs just because for whatever reason they perceive their value as X, Y, or Z, and that someone who has the greater amount of, you know, notoriety can charge because they're in high demand. But the article really seemed to tease out, like, hypothetically, let's say Ian McKellen and Jon Stewart are kicking it at the same con, and they're the same level, they're amazing. One chooses to charge and one chooses not to. There's now like this weird imbalance that like the economics like doesn't really support, because like either one of them, like, because they're at the same level, capitalism or what have you, like, wants to force that price to be the same, and any change is going to like create this weird power balance where people are just like straight up going to be like, well, you're the same, Ian McKellen's is a better deal because you're the same, I'm going to go for his. And Patrick Stewart, for whatever reason that we don't even know, might have a really shitty contract and he actually needs his autograph stuff to survive, and Ian McKellen doesn't need it, but all we have is the perception of them and the cost, and that somehow like creators are like muscling themselves out of things by choosing to charge or not. And that was something that I'd never thought about, like,
yeah, and it's not just an economic hit that they're taking, it's a credibility hit, right? So it's like if one is charging and the other is not charging, the one who's not charging is seen as more fan friendly, as more like, well, you know, he just cares about the art, he just cares about the fans, and he's not charging. I mean, personally, like, so I put up a site, and there's this whole other debate in the tech industry because in the new iOS 9, content blockers have been introduced, and content blockers basically allow people to block ads from sites, which I totally get because ads are freaking annoying. But I've also worked in the ad industry, and there's also small publications like us, like Huge Nerd Network, that will rely on ad revenue to kind of keep us going, keep us
That's how I get paid.
Yeah, that's how Sean gets. It's how the YouTubers get paid. And so it's like a necessary evil, right? It's like,
yes, it is necessary.
I don't want to plaster ads on our site, and I prefer to have sponsors that we at least believe in if we're going to have ads on our site, as opposed to ad served whatever. But
you got to eat.
Yeah, but we got to eat, right? And we all do this, you know, part time. We all have day jobs, and then we, you know, do this as a passion. We love the art. We love talking about art. And so from that perspective, like, I get it. Like, I think I paid for Brian Lee O'Malley's signature on my Scott Pilgrim comic, you know, because I really love his comics, and I think he's really awesome. And I think it was... Oh my god!
Yes!
This is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Wow.
Darth Vader just brought Alaura pizza.
With Darth Vader.
I want to order from that pizza restaurant.
Your lack of cheese is disturbing.
The force is strong with that pizza. Join the dark side.
You don't know the power of pepperoni.
He's like,
oh man,
that was the second time. Like last podcast, he delivered her a drink. Now he's delivering pizza. Like,
He knows what's up.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I had Darth Vader delivering me
I
pizza.
know.
Right? I wish I had anyone delivering pizza. Damn, I'm at work.
That was too.
That was awesome.
That figurine was $30.
Wow, not
Wow.
Yeah, and it talks, and its lightsaber lights up. It's a steal.
There are signatures that cost more than that. So
Well, and then there's the other bit that's really interesting, which was just like, again, it's another economic thing. That's where my brain's gonna go because really analytical, what have you. But just the, hey, like, I get it. Like, I totally would do this for free, but if I sign this, your value of your thing's gonna go up $50, so I should get like a cut of. Like, I'd do it for free if it would stay the same price, but like, I'm not gonna increase your thing by like 200% and not get like a little bit out of it. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's also kind of a thing, man. That we can make this a whole different podcast, but it's kind of like talking about what's that thing called Patreon, you know, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like how YouTubers are using Patreon and other people like me don't. So it's like how does it? Is it like the hard thing now? It's like, okay, I'm asking people like, hey, go sign up for Patreon to support my channel by using the actual cast versus just watching my content. And it's like such a fine line. It's kind of like the same thing now. And I have friends that are doing it. It's like, oh, it's like great. It's like it's like what's the it's like it feels like a competition. Like I'm so good where I need to have you guys pay me money, and so should I be doing that? But then it's like I don't want to do that. It's like I don't want to ask people for money just to help me make content for people, and it's such a fine line, man.
With YouTube adding the kind of paid tier now, where like you can basically make your channel a paid subscription. That's kind of an interesting way to go because, like, in order to get to that point, you have to have a lot of viewers first. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
well, there's like an event horizon for like both of them, where it's like everyone, like, let's say right now, everyone just got an idea. Might as well have a Patreon just because why not? On the off chance, like, something might come in. But at a certain point, like, you don't have to. But at a certain point of notoriety, if everyone at that tier is doing it, it starts being like the Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen argument, where it's like, you are somehow at that point like doing your peers a disservice by not also buying into like their model, even if like it doesn't really matter to you, and even if it's not like a thing that you need or want, because everyone's doing stuff for different reasons. Again, if the lights are on, food's in the belly, you don't really have to do more than that. That's the kind of my whole economic model is do what I love and make sure I have enough money to do it. And after that point, like, you don't really need it. But like in certain spheres, because of capitalism, because of what have you, even just because of just how fans want to make themselves and show adoration for people, it gets sort of weird. And so the Patreon thing is really interesting to me. It really is, because like I was like, there's no way this is going to take off. Kickstarter at least made sense because you had to give someone something. To be like, here's a whatnot. And I'm addicted to Kickstarter, so it's not like I'm
me too.
liking it. But Patreon was just like, hey, just straight up, like, if you think I'm cool, let's go. And it's taken off because people truly want to feel invested in their content, and they don't want to feel like passive to it. And so bringing it back to the actual topic with the signature, on the one hand, like, there's the two camps. There's people who are like making their stuff better. It's like, I have this thing, but like, it is now better now that your signature is on it. I love this. You've made it now, besides a product, you've made it like almost like a totem. And then there's people who are just like, man, like, there's another way by which I can support you. Let's do it. And I think that distinction isn't being made, and two, I think really fuels the weird debate. Having now read one article today and had a 8-minute discussion about it, that's my conclusion that I've come to.
Well, and kind of my final thought on it is like, I feel like we're very spoiled in this culture. We have a lot. We have a lot to consume, and so like I always try to take a step back, and like I'm not gonna lie, I've pirated things, and I don't like that I ever have to. And honestly, a lot of that I blame on content providers like networks like ABC or whatever, who don't make it easy for me to like subscribe to shows I want to see. That's why the Netflix model is great.
HBO.
And HBO is great.
Interact together.
Yeah, exactly. And but for the most part, like I like, this is why I'm on board with Apple Music, because it's like, if I can pay something that I feel is affordable, but I can know that at least what I'm listening to is getting some sort of revenue for it, I'm all for it. And I think in this society in general, we've kind of devalued artists, and we've kind of devalued the work that goes behind it, because it's so easy to find and consume everywhere.
And there's so much of it.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it's devalued. If anything, art is better today than it's ever been. There's so much good stuff. There's a lot of crap, but there's a lot of really great stuff. And it shows by the fact that we couldn't limit a TV discussion to 30 minutes, because there's good TV.
400 scripted shows starting this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. So crazy.
So that, I think that about wraps up our time for today. I'll go ahead and go to anyone if you guys have any last thoughts. All right, final thoughts, Rudy.
I'll just do the final thoughts of the fall shows. Basically, a couple of my must watches from this season
from what we've seen so far, I definitely would give like Once Upon a Time a must watch. I think that's a really, really intriguing show, and the direction that they're going with it is beautiful. Heroes, I don't like you said, that's the laundry show. I definitely wouldn't give that I mean, it's there. It's only there because we as fans felt like we were cheated so long ago, and so for people who are fans of the show, yeah, we're gonna watch it just for the pure nostalgia. But it's not something that I'm completely invested in. Like, to be honest with you, I completely forgot it was coming on tomorrow. And is it tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow. Until you guys said something. Until you guys said that, I was just like, oh yeah, that's right, Heroes. I'm doing it in my off time. So all the hype for that show. All the hype for that show so far is just a big letdown for me.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with that. Alaura, final thoughts?
I want to eat my pizza. I don't know. I love Gotham, even though you guys don't like it so much.
Wait, you like Gotham? I read your review. It didn't sound like...
Oh, no, I love Gotham. I just hate Bruce Wayne, and also
that's
Jim.
A big part of the show.
Jim. I don't like him either. I just like the Penguin circle with the crime.
The show Penguin.
I'm a big fan of just villains. I like villains the best. So, like, I want the Riddler to do more, and I want the Penguin to do more, and I just want to watch that chaos happen because I love chaos.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Oh yeah, it's great.
There we go.
Burning is good.
All right, Wendell, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. My final thoughts is actually a new thought because it's a show that most people haven't watched. I didn't even really know about it, but the internet's been talking about it. I watched Quantico. It's super dope.
Okay,
it's
really?
basically it's Harry Potter, but like all the Hogwarts kids are FBI agents. Also, it's Slumdog Millionaire plus like Born Identity. It's just like the way that they've like taken this like kind of boilerplate post 9/11 terrorist attack or whatnot, but actually just thrown like a bunch of weird like fun genre things. Is the whole show, and it's fun. It has a great time. I watched it just because I took a mental health day from work and was just like, wow. I was just like, why not? And it was real great. That's one of my must watches, or not must watch, but just like you might be mildly intrigued. Must watch is Muppets, and yeah, it's phenomenal. I think definitely 10 years from now we're going to be talking about the Muppets in the same vein as the 30 Rocks in the Office. I truly believe that, unless they really just like blew their load like 2 episodes in. I don't think that. I think they've got the formula down, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
That's what I got.
All right, Sean, final thoughts.
Oh man, there's so many good shows and so many crappy shows too. But no, I'm just kidding. I have faith. You know, it's funny. One thing I've been meaning to say is just, there's 2 shows of spin-offs of shows that I love watching, which is Heroes Reborn and Fear the Walking Dead, which we haven't talked about. And both of those shows are kind of like, well, they're based on things I love, so but that's how I feel right now. It's like, I'm trying to hold on to it, but it's like I'm losing my grip on it. And Heroes Reborn 2 episodes in, because that was 2 episodes. I want to give it a chance, just like I've been giving Fear the Walking Dead a chance, which it's been okay. It's still not Walking Dead good, but anyone that had criticisms about Walking Dead, that show is just like, oh, let's do the opposite of what people have been criticized. Let's do less zombie action and make it slower. Yeah, that's what people like. Yeah, no, but so I just find it funny, except for Better Call Saul, which was a great spinoff. I really love.
Yes.
That's a really great show that I can't wait to see return. I feel like the spin-off shows this year with Fear the Walking Dead, Heroes Reborn, haven't been doing that great, and then, like, going back into Gotham, I feel like the show that I should love the most out of The Flash, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, Supergirl, which I saw the Supergirl premiere way better than Gotham, I'm sorry. And, so I feel like the shows that I should be loving, I'm not. And then the shows that I feel like would be maybe like my second, third favorite are my favorite. So I thought that's kind of funny with this year. So
Nice.
I totally forgot. Also must watch for everyone. Blackish, watch it. It's important. It's went from kind of real fun time to actually deeply important. Everyone watch it. It's amazing. Just dumb.
Awesome. Yeah. So my final thoughts. I agree with Sean, and the term for what that is called hope watching, where you're watching hoping that it will at least get close to your expectations that you had for it. So yeah, there's a couple shows I do that with. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was one of those shows, and I was rewarded with it. How I Met Your Mother was one of those shows, and I was not rewarded with it. So it's a risk. You take the risk of hope watching with a show. Shows that I really love that we haven't talked about. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I thought, had a great premiere. It's just a steady show. It's funny. It's written by the same people, or a lot of the same people who did Parks and Rec and The Office. So it's got a good cast. It's got good writers. It's just a steady show. There's not much to say about it, but it's just great. Last Men on Earth, I thought the premiere was great. That was a show that was very grating at times in the first season, but I thought the season 2 premiere was really kind of went back to some of the strengths of that show in the first season. And I was shocked at how much I enjoyed Scream Queens, even though it's not my type of show. I enjoyed it, and I'm going to watch the next episode that aired the other day and kind of see where I feel about it. But for now, I'm bullish on that show. So I think that's it for today. Thank you, Wendell, Alaura, and Rudy for joining me, and Sean. We should plug you guys real quick. So Rudy has a channel called Shadow Geek on YouTube. We will be sure to put the link in our description. Wendell, Rudy also writes for the site. He's written a few reviews. Wendell's writing reviews for the site. Most recently, Minority Report. What else have you written?
Most recently was Muppets today.
Yep.
Muppets, Minority Report, and more Muppets. And some board game things. Yeah. I'm also on medium.com/Wendell.Britt. Nice. That's where my long-form social commentary nerd blurred takes place.
Alaura has a YouTube channel that hasn't really launched yet, but she wrote the most recent Gotham review. Be sure to check that out on the site. Sean's got videos for days, but if you want to plug anything, Sean, go ahead.
I'm just, like I said, I didn't realize that today was the thing, otherwise it would be up sooner. Avengers Age of Ultron, Marvel Legends Ultron Build-A-Figure will be up later, and then I do a lot of reviews on, I got Hot Toys Hulk coming later this week. At first, no one knows about it till now, so hopefully this is up before Friday, so yeah.
Nice. And then I've written reviews for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'll have some other reviews on the comedies up soon. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next week, maybe with a different cast of characters, but we hope you enjoyed. And may Darth Vader bring you all of your pizza.
Thanks for tuning in to the Huge Nerd Podcast. Visit our site at hugenerd.net and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Huge Nerd Network.